Do you love movies? So do I. What's up, y'all? It's KB, and I love movies, inviting you to listen to The Conversation, a film podcast where passion meets perspective and opinion. From the old school to the new, I invite a guest on to discuss the movies that thrill us, challenge us, break our hearts, or even blow our minds. There's always new episodes dropping wherever you get your podcasts. So join the conversation. We don't just watch movies. We love talking about them too. The Conversation with KB Loves Movies, a part of Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Hello, filthy movie lovers. My name is Gentry Austin.
And I'm Casey Scott.
And we're the hosts of the Sin Syndicate, film podcast for something weirdos, anti-criterion bros, and Joseph Sarno aficionados. Join us semi-weekly as we peer into the adults-only theaters and sticky-floored cinemas of the golden age of sexploitation, when the morals were loose, the laws were murky, and the intercourse was all simulated. Find us now on the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Get out!
Welcome to Wake Up Heavy, the world's greatest horror movie podcast. On this episode, my weird dad and his friends will be talking about...
It's the kind of house they don't build anymore. What do you think?
I love it.
A relic of a time when the world wasn't in such a hurry.
Mommy, I want to go home.
God's peace in this house. What do you want from us? The Amityville Horror, rated R.
Mark Begley, you should check out Morbius.
I keep mentioning it to my family and they don't want to watch it.
I keep mentioning it to my family, and they keep looking at you like Burt Young in Amityville 2.
I'm like, Morbius is on the Plex.
They're like, and?
Dad, I have to go feed the hogs. We don't have hogs. We might.
My daughter's kind of
someday.
woke, so she doesn't want anything to do with Jared Leto.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's understandable.
Yeah, she's kind of woke. We're pretty woke, and we don't want anything to do with Jared Leto. He's 50 years old, Mark.
I know, motherfucker.
What the fuck, dude? That's because you don't drink the blood of 15-year-old children like he does.
True,
Allegedly.
true.
Allegedly, Your Honor. All right, well, I'm ready whenever you are, because this is your show, right?
We'll find out why you didn't bother to watch the remake. Reimagining.
I mean, it's kind of a shot-for-shot remake.
Yeah.
Yep, the decision that I made seems like the right one. More and more we keep talking here.
Hello, and welcome to Wake Up Heavy Recollections of Horror. This is Mark Bigley, your host, and joining me once again from the Kulturecast and numerous other podcasts is my adopted son, Chris Stachiw.
It's true. He calls me son. I call him dad all the time.
But not in a weird way.
Well, what is weird anymore?
I'm speaking for myself.
Fair.
And on the show for the first time, but a frequent guest over at the Kulturecast, who I've had the pleasure of podcasting with, Mr. Andy Gnosis.
Hello.
And today we are going to be talking about 3 and or 4 movies in the Amityville horror franchise, I guess we can call it.
At this point, they're just releasing movies with the name Amityville. I guess that's enough at this point. It's the 25th mainline Amityville movie. That's not a thing.
It's my understanding that, yeah, you can use the Amityville name. It's not copyrighted or trademarked by anybody, so you can have an Amityville shark movie if you would like. But we're going to talk about the original and its first 2 somewhat loosely connected sequels and or prequels, and maybe briefly at the end, the 2005 reimagining, requel, reboot, whatever you want to call it, with Ryan Reynolds and Melissa George. Chris, I believe this was your first time watching any of them?
First time watching any of them, but on my other show, Scary Stories We Tell, we actually did an episode on Amityville. That's more the reason I didn't watch the remake, because I'm kind of sick and fucking tired of this story. And I'll tell you why. Because it's all fake. It's all beyond fake. It's so fake that the base story, I know all the beats at this point that I don't want to see that again. I watched Amityville Horror and the second and the third one. The second and the third one are these like, oh my God.
They're nutty.
I did not want to see that Amityville story again because I also read the book last year for the first time. So I'm just like, I don't need to see it again. I know the flies and he's going to walk around with the axe. And I'm sure that's all there in the remake, just like it's there in the original. But this was the first time watching it. But like the story, I know the beats of the story. Like I said, we did kind of a pretty expansive episode on my show about it. So yes, this is the first time watching the movies.
I should have listened to that.
Well, I mean, you don't have to.
I should have, though.
I didn't mention it to you, so that's on me.
True.
Hey, I've already done an episode. But to be fair, I also wouldn't want you to go and listen to what I've said before about it. So you're like, I've heard you say this before, motherfucker.
Right.
You're just saying what you've said elsewhere.
Andy, what's your experience with these 4 films?
Well, the remake was actually the first one I had ever seen when it came out. had already seen the first 3 films. I just didn't remember anything from them. The one that's the most prominent in my mind is the remake. I had fun rewatching them. There was a lot of stuff that I did like, and then there was a lot of stuff that I was like, I really don't like that.
Oh yeah? Oh yeah? Was most of it contained in the second film?
The second film. So, oh my goodness.
Well, we'll get to that one.
Oh God. Do we have to, Mark? Is that a requirement?
I think we have to talk about the kids.
Yeah.
I think it'll be interesting
right?
because it's one of my favorites of the series.
Yeah. What about you, Mr. Begley? Let me ask you, turn the mirror back on yourself, sir.
I'm old enough to remember vaguely the whole Amityville Horror thing. The book.
When it actually happened.
When the book came out,
Right.
I was 5 when Ronald DeFeo killed his family. That was in 74, so I was 5, 6 the next year when the Lutzes moved in and had their experience, quote unquote. But I do remember when the book came out because it was pretty popular, and I remember seeing the cover either at the public library or on a paperback shelf in a grocery store or something and thinking that it was creepy. The house looked creepy and those quarter moon eye windows looked creepy. By the time the movie came out, I was 10. I knew about these things, would see the trailers or see the ad in the paper. And at some point in there, we got the paperback. So I read it probably shortly after the movie came out, within a couple of years. I remember reading it on a trip to Portland. We have family up in Portland, and we would drive, and it's like a 12-hour drive, so you can get a lot of reading done if you don't get car sick. I remember reading it on one of those trips before I saw the movie, because even back then I would always be curious as to how it would translate. What would they leave in? What would they not? I remember thinking, oh, they're being very faithful. All the stuff in the book in the movie is from the book, etc. Probably rented it by the time we had a VCR and were renting horror movies, probably rented it fairly often. I remember seeing it quite a bit. When the second one came out, that was probably around that time, because I was 82, so it probably got out on video in 83. I was 14. We would have sleepovers at my friend Andy's house because he had a cool house and generally rented horror movies. So we rented the second one. And I just remember thinking, oh, this is very weird. A lot different than the first one. And that became the one that I rented the most out of the first 2. And then I didn't see the third one until a couple years ago for the first time. Caught it on cable. Thought it was pretty fun. Of the 3, for me, it's the weakest. They all have some enjoyable things. And I guess some disturbing things, too.
You think?
But the first one was directed by Stuart Rosenberg. Worked a bunch with Paul Newman, like Cool Hand Luke, Pocket Money, Drowning Pool. He did Brubaker. Pope of Greenwich Village was one of his last films. So it's a little bit of an oddball choice. It does give the movie some cachet, at least back then, from what I understand, this was a big hit. I think it was made for close to $5 million. I think in one of the documentaries I watched this last week, they said $3 million, and then ended up making $100 million. So that's a pretty tidy profit. Written by Sander Stern, who wrote the script for the crazy Canadian film Pin. Produced at AIP by Samuel Z. Arkoff. Starring James Brolin and Margot Kidder as George and Kathy Lutz, Rod Steiger, Don Stroud, and Murray Hamilton as fathers in their local parish, Natasha Ryan, Casey Martell, and Nino Pelouse as the kids, with Val Avery and James Tolkien, a couple of those, oh, I know that guy, faces in there as cops in the corner. And the score. Very different from this guy's other work. Lalo Schifrin did a bunch of the Dirty Harry movies, 70s cop movies, worked with Eastwood and Stuart Rosenberg a bunch. And we open with one of the only real things to come out of all this.
Yeah, right.
The DeFeo murders.
The actual thing.
Which plays into the overall mystique of the Amityville Horror, seen as it is the only thing that can be verified as actually happening and doesn't have anything to do with the supernatural, no matter what Ronnie DeFeo said.
No, the devil made me do it. Man, this is one of the original devil made me do it cases.
Right, and it predates the Satanic Panic by a good decade, practically. Interesting where that defense came up.
Then the second movie, it has a devil made me do it nod in it. They said the devil, that Conjuring movie not aside.
Chris, having done that Conjuring episode, there's all kinds of stuff that they've pulled from the story and from the movies.
Yeah.
I mean, you see it in the first movie. That house is practically set up the same way as the Amityville house. The old stuff in the basement, the mom in the basement. That's in this one. It's in the second one.
The Conjuring is a better Amityville movie.
I wanted the third one to be, because they
can't do it because of Amityville is like a property. Something about it. They already got sued once, I believe, for like having it in the second one.
Right. But see, that in it opening to The Conjuring 2 was so interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, this is pretty cool seeing the other side of it from the Warrens' point of view. It only touched on it, and still love The Conjuring 2. But that was something that I pointed out yesterday while watching these films was it would have made a great Conjuring movie because the Amityville Horror is the quintessential haunted house film. You know what I mean? And everything after it tries to do the same thing. The family moves in. They didn't know that it was haunted. Crazy shit happens. And after 28 days, they flee. The Conjuring coming out revamped that vibe that really made people afraid of being home alone. It only made sense in my mind. And plus, the Warrens were actually involved in the investigation of Amityville House. So I just felt that would have made a great third movie.
I'm sure they thought the same thing.
And they didn't even have to call it Amityville Horror, just The Conjuring Amityville. You know how many people would have really been lining up to see that shit?
More so than the ones that did for the fucking third movie that they farted out.
I think the only problem is that their involvement was strictly after the Lutzes left.
Right.
They just went in to prove that it wasn't a hoax.
Right. There was something there.
I'm sure having the Warrens attached to that didn't help.
Because in the two documentaries that I watched, which were very similar, because we're treading the same ground here, two incidents, that's really it, roughly a year apart. The Warrens were featured in both the documentaries, and they really didn't end up doing a whole lot.
As much as I like Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga, I think that the real Warrens were
probably full of shit.
Somewhat the equivalent of like demonologist ambulance chasers. Does that make sense?
Oh, you totally get that vibe watching them.
The real people.
In a documentary.
Yeah.
They're not how they're portrayed by
I wish they were those people, because those people are like...
They're superheroes.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And they're very genuine and...
good people.
That's just Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga, though.
Yeah, they show up. I'm like, I'm not even a religious person, and I watch those movies going, yeah, that's right. You put that cross in that.
Yeah, I believe in Jesus because of you, Patrick Wilson.
Yeah, you're right. I've seen documentaries and interviews with them, and I'm like, maybe they truly believe that all this shit really happened. They just believe in it that much.
Isn't that all it takes, really, is just you to
Faith.
believe in it?
Yeah, faith.
I mean, that's all faith is. As someone who, again, I have to tread a careful line here with my other show because I don't want to discredit or talk down about people's beliefs.
Sure.
At the same time, the Warrens have always struck me in kind of a weird way. I believe that they believe their abilities and what they could do. I just think that they maybe went about it the wrong way a lot of the times by putting themselves front and center in the middle of things and making it about themselves.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I mean, there's got to be people like that in the world.
They became polarizing, you know what I mean?
Right.
So their names attached to a case makes it a little more, I don't want to say profitable, popular.
Right.
It gets people talking about it.
Right.
I mean, we kind of get a taste of that in the beginning of the third Amityville.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Reminded me straight up of that type of thing. You know,
I love that scene.
Which I forgot happened. So when it did, I was like, oh, shit.
I like that the first one is presented in such a way that there is ambiguity there that goes out the door in the second one completely.
Oh, wait, what?
You get the doubting Thomases throughout the film, even the priests. And I forgot that they were more like how they are in The Exorcist. We don't really do that stuff anymore since we found out about mental illness.
Right.
I like that things aren't presented black and white. Everything can be explained another way.
Right.
The flies can be explained. The weird thing with that ceramic dragon that supposedly bites George Lutz's leg.
I was wondering what the hell the whole point was.
It's explained in a little more detail in the book. I mean, they do have a dog, and the dog survives, at least in this one. You know, maybe he got bit by the dog.
Right.
Maybe the black ooze or the black... It's described as stains in one of the documentaries that I watched. And there can be a lot of reasons for black stains in a bathroom.
Mold.
Mold.
Mold. Literally black mold.
They present it in such a way that it's a lot more interesting in the films. Obviously, blood oozing out of the walls or running down the stairs, you're going to think, oh, this really happened. I think that's one of the things that Lutz actually said, that was all Hollywood. They took some liberties. And I like that for the most part in that first film, you can still come away with thinking, yeah, none of this stuff actually happened. This is because of this is because of this. And do you guys watch that show Evil?
No.
No, but I know what it is.
This is what they do. They go and figure out what it is that could be causing these things. And weird sounds are because of the vibrations of the pipes. And when they expand, this happens. And you've got this gas in your house, so it does this. And of course, a lot of their episodes then end up being full-on supernatural things, but that's their job, is to go and show what the reality could be and why these things are happening. And that's just what I kept thinking of while watching the first one again. Because as a kid, I probably bought into it more. You know, something really happened to them.
I'm pretty sure the filmmakers wanted that too. Like, I hope you walk away believing that this actually happened.
And wanting to go buy the book to read more.
If they presented it more like it's presented in the book, it wouldn't be as interesting a movie, and you're not making a documentary.
Yeah.
Let's amp it up a little bit.
Inspired by a true story.
Not based. There's the difference.
Yeah, that's right. Inspired by a inspired by true events, maybe. I don't think anything in the Amityville house happened. This first movie is hard to watch because it is just purely entertainment that is masquerading as reality. First off, the thing that cracks me up even in the movie, what's happening to them is not really scary. It's more just like inconveniences. Like, oh, there's black ooze, but there's not really black ooze up until right at the end. And, oh, the flies are there, but then they're gone. And it's like...
It's cold.
Yeah, this isn't The Conjuring where it's like all of a sudden, like, the witch is levitating in a chair and trying to kill you. Like, this is just like minor inconvenience.
Right, minus the walls actually bleeding.
Right, which again was all Hollywood.
You know, that would have been a pure sign of, let's get the fuck out of this house. If this house can bleed,
Which by that time they pretty much are.
Right. Yeah.
It's like that Simpsons episode again, Chris. You know?
Mom, Dad, look! It's an ancient Indian burial ground. Man, this place has got everything.
An ancient Indian what?
Poltergeist feels like a response to this movie. Tobe Hooper and Spielberg saw this movie and went, we could make a better version of this movie. And in a lot of ways, Poltergeist is just this movie, but better.
Well, this movie did have me feeling anxious.
Sure.
It's almost a claustrophobic feeling. What I found interesting was, like I said, I'm more familiar with the remake, was that the house could attach itself to you. Leaving the house didn't do anything. Whereas in the remake, they make it clear that once you leave the house, you're good. And in the original one, I liked that wasn't the case, that once you've entered the house and it's attached itself to you. Because the priest, by the way, what was the point of all that? Of the priest? Because they kind of...
Get out! Get out!
And I think it's a legitimacy thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't just the family.
Right. Men of the cloth, cops, lawyers, military. Those are the people we trust. We don't trust
Right, and I'm just used to today's films making those characters show up in the third act to do something. And I kept thinking the priest is going to come back. Well, why not? They did it in The Exorcist, and he saved the little girl's life, throws himself out the window, whatnot. The priest didn't do anything here except really try to convince everyone that what he saw was real. And then he went blind, and that was that. The detective asked a few questions, and then that was that. So that kind of didn't go anywhere. But the ending of this movie was where I was actually like, why would you go back? And I forgot that they forgot the dog. The girl says,
save Harry.
Harry. And I'm like, fuck your dolls. I thought she was talking about a toy.
Her nasty ass Raggedy Ann doll.
Yeah. So, and then once he was heading back in, I was like, that's right. They have a dog. In the remake, the dog dies. So in this one, I was like, oh, this dog's going to live. Well, cool. But I don't know if I'd care enough to go back into that demonic house. And watching them wait in the van did actually make me feel anxious. I was like, I forgot how this movie ends. So is he coming back or does he not make it? And then there's the black sludge. And then from what I thought, the dog was biting him. Didn't realize he was saving him. I liked the first one. I don't understand why the money was hid.
Where's the money?
That's one of the perfect examples of you dropped the money. I mean, you dropped it and it got kicked under the couch. Maybe the dog took it.
No.
It's easily explained. That one was always a strange thing. Like, why are they spending so much time on this?
Because weird things happen.
Even in the bathroom when the guy confronts me, he's like, I want cash. And fuck your cash, you know?
You're getting a check.
Cool side plot movie. Like,
it's like, okay, well, that happened.
It's to get to the babysitter where she's locked in the closet. You know, Amy's the only one there, but she gets locked in the closet that doesn't have a lock and freaks out. And you can compare that, those of us that watched the 2005 version, to how they do it in that one.
I like that one.
I liked everything about that except Jodie being constantly popping up everywhere.
Okay. Jodie's in this film just as... Isn't she presented as like a pig at some point?
The pig floating in the window.
Right.
Which I never could pick out, I think, until I finally saw it on HD or something. Because I remember that from the book and from reading about the movie. Like, oh, the pig at the end is so freaky. It's just like a cutout. It's an optical effect, and it's just kind of floating around, disembodied pig.
Yeah, it's clearly a sheet with like a photo on it or something.
I finally saw it, and I was like, oh my god, that's ridiculous.
Well, the thing about these movies that really, really make me angry, and it happens in all of them, is when no one believes you. The priest has to go through it. God, I hated that guy who was like really chewing him out.
Who the hell do you think you are? You think your secular education gives you the right to question the church?
Then he just tells him to sit down. I would have told him to go fuck himself.
The great Murray Hamilton, man, that's what he's there to do.
It was great. It was pissing me off. But the girl in the closet, that would just make me feel so irritated when she says, I've been in there. I couldn't open it. I was locked in. And then he says, there's no lock. And she says, but it wouldn't open. And he's like, well, look here, look for yourself.
Right.
I'm not saying that there isn't or is a lock. I'm saying that the door wouldn't open. Fuck your logic. I'm dropping F-bombs all over the place here. Just being like, no, look for yourself. See, it can't lock. It's like, yeah, but why would I lie? I've been in there and my fingers are bleeding. That little bitch on the bed just sat there the whole time.
Probably put a chair up against the door so it wouldn't open. If we want to get rational explanations for things.
Yeah, she could have.
I think the most rational explanation of all is they just made it up.
Well, yeah.
The way I interpret the Lutz story is that they bought a house they could not afford, and all of a sudden they couldn't make payments on the house, and they had to figure out a way to get out of it. And so they claimed that the house was haunted. And in claiming that the house was haunted, they didn't have to worry about house payments anymore because they made like $200,000 from the movie and the book alone.
Yeah, but they weren't even in there for a month, so they wouldn't have had a mortgage payment.
Right, but would you live in a fake haunted house for a month to get $200,000? I believe that they believed something happened.
Right.
Whether or not those things happened to the intensity with which they claim is a different story. I believe they experienced something weird, but my interpretation of weird and Andy's interpretation of weird and Mark's interpretation of weird are going to vary, possibly a lot. Well, you were in the house and some weird things happened, but were they really weird or were they just a little strange? Amityville is just like, that's where I come down. It's just like, the story got away from them. And honestly, like, there's a fucking dead body in the house anyways already. The DeFeo murders happened.
The haunting stuff is not the weirdest thing that's happened in that house.
No. The guy murdered his family. Like,
no, I'm talking about the siblings, but that's in the second one. Yeah. That's the weirdest thing that's happened.
But that's the DeFeo family, technically.
Remove the real life from it. Is it successful as a horror film? 1979, this is pre-slasher boom, post-Exorcist, post-Omen. It's along the lines of those films, again, where we have, not so much The Exorcist. William Friedkin was still a young director, but The Omen was directed by an older, I can never remember who directed that film. Again, it was one of those old Hollywood types, like having a crack at the new genre. Maybe they're a little bloated with side stories and... You mentioned the priests, Andy.
Omen was directed by Dick Donner. That's what I wanted to say, but I wasn't sure because I was like, is that a Dick Donner movie?
Not his milieu for the most part.
No, the only other time he would work on a horror thing is Tales from the Crypt because he was a producer on that show.
It's almost part police procedural instead of cops, although there is a cop. It's the priests investigating. All that outside stuff is gone from that 2005 version. Mm-hmm. Which is why it's barely an hour and a half, and this is almost 2 hours. I enjoy that outside of the house stuff where we see, you mentioned again, Andy, the extension of the story outward, where he is still experiencing things. Every time he tries to call, there's static on the line, or he gets blisters on his hand at one point from the phone.
Yeah.
The house's influence travels that way. It travels into his church, and he's struck blind by fragments from a religious icon shattering in the church. I miss that outside aspect in that 2005 remake where it's just the family, and it's just family dynamics, and it's trauma. But I like to be able to step outside of the family, and we never get to do that in the 2005 version at all. It's just all them. The priest comes at one point, but
that's it. There's no involvement of the priest that much.
Very minor, and we don't get into the whole dynamics of, is this a real haunting and blah, blah, blah.
But that feels like the Exorcist influence, right? Like that for me is where the Exorcist directly influenced this movie. Having the script writer of the film be cognizant of what made the Exorcist so good, which was an injection of these characters from outside of the situation. That's what made the Exorcist story so good.
Because there's two investigations going on. It's a religious investigation and then a murder investigation, you know, who pushed
the director, Burt Dennings.
Burt Dennings, yeah.
For the longest time, I didn't realize that was supposed to be his voice coming out of Reagan after she slaps the shit out of her mom. Why is the demon British?
You know what she did? Your canting daughter?
Wait a minute, that's the voice of the director. Ooh, that's even more horrifying, you know, that it's a dead guy's voice.
You definitely get that in Amityville because you do end up having a cop later on following them, watching the house, just like Kinderman does. And you've got the whole
guy almost looks like Kinderman
priest thing. Yeah, I think they borrowed a bit from there.
Val Avery is he's all
cigar
right.
Chomping.
I just saw him in something else.
I always remember that first part after the opening and the DeFeo murder and him messing with his handkerchief, and I think, oh yeah, that's his bit through the whole movie, but it's not. So I don't know where I get that idea from, like he's always got a cold or something.
How about when he slaps the shit out of Margot Kidder?
The cop?
No,
George?
Yeah.
James Brolin? Thanos' father.
I was like, we're not going to talk about that?
I wasn't expecting nudity in this movie, but...
Oh, yeah, boobies.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, boobies. That's the tagline.
Yeah. Yeah.
Margot Kidder boobies.
Margot Kidder is a gorgeous woman. Fantastic actress.
She's and fantastic. One-legging for some reason.
Right,
I tell you, when I first saw this...
I bet.
As a teenager, that get-up with the one-legging, I think triggered something in my brain because every time I see it, I'm like, oh, shit.
She's a dancer.
That is something else.
It's real good. And she's stretching in front of the mirror like that? Come on, movie. What are you doing? Like,
you know what you're doing.
You know what you're doing. And then all of a sudden, he's just whooping the shit out of her.
Yeah.
It's the house, though, guys. It's the house. It hasn't rained.
The devil made me slap her, I swear.
Yeah.
I swear. How cute were the kids, though? I felt bad for the one with the window mashing on his eye. Is just
Toadie is my friend. She's here upstairs.
That little bugger's in E.T. He's one of the gang of bike riding kids.
Really?
C. Martell, yeah.
How cool
He's the one that always wears the hat and the headphones.
You're such a Sinner Supremus.
Zero charisma.
Sinner Supremus.
Zero charisma.
Sinner Supremus.
Shut up, Greg.
Sinner Supremus.
And then the other brother, Mino Palouse, I remember the first time I saw that, I was like, oh my God, that kid's been in tons of 70s TV shows. And the little girl was in The Entity, which is another great haunted house, inappropriate haunted house movie where the ghost rapes the owner of the house multiple times in the film.
So that's the movie somebody was asking me about. Somebody brought up a movie about a ghost fucking somebody in a house, and Andy, were you there? Who the fuck was there?
I was talking, you're talking about when I brought up, there's a movie, I don't know if it's a legit movie, but there's a trailer out there somewhere, but I can't remember what it's called. It about a ghost that violently gives men hand jobs and blowjobs.
That's not The Entity.
Is this the film you were talking about?
They're hiding away in a
Is this Amityville Vibrator? Because that is like a movie.
It's like Evil Dead, but with, hand jobs. That's what it looked like. I don't know. It looked creepy. I was scared.
Anyways, Margot Kidder stretching in front of a mirror.
Right. No, but what's interesting is when I was younger, obviously, and I was not a father yet, seeing children in peril didn't affect me. I didn't give a shit. In fact, I probably thought that scene was funny with the window and Now, what has happened to me? Like, I watch movies like this now where the kids could potentially be hurt, and then you see them crying and doing it convincingly. It breaks my heart. Thankfully, they're like, oh, no, not a broken bone in his hand. I'm like, that's not possible. But I'm glad that the kids are okay. And that is where I was affected in the sequels as well, where...
the audience may not know yet, really.
Yeah, but...
This movie is pedestrian compared to the second one. Like it.
Yeah.
And what's weird is like the DeFeo stuff in this movie, they make such a big deal out of the DeFeo stuff. And like, George Lutz looks like him. Look at that picture. That is him.
What was with that?
And then in the second movie, they're like, never mind. Like, this is something else entirely. It's like,
wait. Are you telling me that the second one is a prequel?
Correct. The second one is.
We'll get to that because there's confusion about that. But
sorry, Mark. Sorry to open this box up.
But the confusion is all meaningless.
Okay.
Right.
I looked it up because I know what they look like. George Lutz and Ron, we're going to intersperse the real life stuff with this, people, so just deal with it.
All those Amityville stands out there, y'all need to take a chill pill.
It's not like James Brolin looking into the fiery pit and seeing James Brolin's face or James Brolin being in the news article, but they didn't look dissimilar back then. They had a similar look.
George Lutz and Ronnie DeFeo?
Yeah. Mostly because of the beard and the hair.
But it's also the mid-70s.
Right, it's the 70s.
Most guys look
All
like
dudes,
that.
yeah, everybody looks like that.
That's the problem. It's like, wait. So you're telling me men in the mid-70s had long hair and long facial hair and like close cropped, like goatees and beards and shit? Whoa.
I think that's the perfect representation of the film, though. Like, let's take that. They looked similar to, oh my God, it's
degree.
Like the same guy.
Right, exactly. And to the point where Margot Kidder sees him in the microfiche, and it's like, just James Brolin.
Yeah, it's James Brolin.
It's not actually him, though, lady. Like, you're seeing that. That's not reality. And the movie does kind of a bad job of reinforcing to the audience that some of this is not reality. Some of this is in their head. Like you said, Mark, that it's not clear sometimes what is reality and what isn't. And I think they could have played with that a little bit more and maybe got some more mileage out of it.
In The Possession, is that family the DeFeos?
Yeah.
It is.
Supposed to be, correct.
Do they ever say that?
No, they're the Manelli. They're not called the DeFeos. They're a stand-in for what happened to the DeFeos.
What a weird choice. Okay.
Because in the first movie, that the second movie is a sequel to, they make a point of talking about what Ronnie DeFeo looks like in the house where they show him killing his family at the beginning of the movie. I know that this movie is not being made in 2022 where everybody is beholden to mythologies and all this all this MCU kind of stuff where everybody's beholden to things that came before it, but that's a real weird choice any way you cut it.
I did not get that at all. I thought this took place.
Let's get into the second one unless anybody has anything else to say about the first one.
I like the first one. I think it's really cool, and I think it still stands.
I think it's a classic.
Yeah.
I was happy to rewatch it. It's actually been a while, and
it's spooky.
It's creepy. I think it works well as a horror movie, and
that window scene with the eyes, I forgot that happened, so that got me.
It's a cat.
It got me.
They say, and I love that they say it in the movies, like it's a cat.
Yes, because cats have...
Well, that's the movie, but if you see red eyes outside your window...
Probably.
It's light reflecting off of a cat's eyes. George says it to Kathy. You saw the cat. The cat climbed up the house. And it's a cat.
Yeah.
Not a fucking pig that's sometimes as big as the house.
And let's just also reinforce here, the Amityville Haunting is the quintessential American haunted house story. The fact that this movie had to be good because the validity of the story aside, the book's not underwhelming, but the book's not as scary as you think it's going to be because it can't be. Because what it has to be is more...
real?
Well, it's like you said, Mark, it's like there needs to be some up for interpretation moments. And that could never have what the second and third movie have, which are actual monsters running around on screen. Yeah. But that's what makes the first movie, like you've said, a total classic. I would watch this movie again. This movie it's fun is not the word I would use, but it's effective. It is effective at what it is going for, which is to be the standard for haunted house movies, at least for the 70s.
I would put it in my watch list. If I was having a haunted house movie night, Amityville Horror would be in there.
It would either be the first movie or the last movie that you watch.
Yeah. Like alongside like Conjuring and stuff. It still fits in there.
I mean, granted, Conjuring is a better quote-unquote movie, but Conjuring doesn't exist without this movie.
Right.
That's the family tree of stuff like this. Is like, this is the base. This is where this all comes from. At least these kinds of movies.
Yeah.
5 years ago, the Lutz family fled their home in Amityville, New York. They were lucky to escape with their lives. But the previous owners, the Montellis, weren't so lucky. They were caught by the original evil that possessed the house, an evil that drove their son to destroy everything and everyone he loved. Now, Amityville 2, The Possession, rated R.
Amityville 2, The Possession, came out 3 years later in 1982, directed by Damiani, an Italian director who was more known for those Italian cop movies, and he did some spaghetti westerns, A Bullet for the General in particular, and I think was mainly a writer more so than a director. And with a script from Tommy Wallace that was reworked from a script by Dardano Sacchetti, who, if you're into Italian horror, you know, he wrote Cat o' Nine Tails, A Bay of Blood, Mr. Stachiw,
That's right,
Shock,
Bay of Blood.
Zombie, the Gates of Hell trilogy for Fulci, the New York Ripper for Fulci,
Demons.
This was brought about, I think De Laurentiis hired them to write a script for a movie called The Ogre, which ended up being Demons 3, and it got stopped at some point, and he started in on a script for this, and then Tommy Lee Wallace came in and did a rewrite on it. So he's the one with the screen credit. Tommy Lee Wallace has done a number of sequels, including my favorite Halloween sequel, Halloween 3, which he also directed, and Fright Night 2, which he also directed, I believe. And he wrote the screenplay for It, which he also directed.
The original It.
The original It, the 1990 It.
The good one.
The good one.
That's debatable.
Why is it so mean?
And it has
Sure is.
music
Sure
by
is.
Lalo Schifrin again. And this is a Dino De Laurentiis joint. I'm surprised it wasn't filmed in North Carolina. They used the same house for the first 3 movies for the exteriors. Some house in New Jersey that wasn't fortunate enough to look like the Amityville house. Most of the interiors were shot in Mexico. Stars Burt Young, Britannia Alda, Diane Franklin, and the son is played by Jack Magner, who I don't think did a whole lot, but he was just in something, another movie that was on the other night that I caught. Oh, he's in Firestarter. He's the soldier who gets his boots lit up in the original Firestarter, another Dino De Laurentiis venture. And the cast is rounded out with James Olsen as Father Adamski, Andrew Prine as Father Tom, Moses Gunn as Turner, and Leonardo Cimino as the Chancellor.
Yes, my Baron. Your disease feeds me, my Baron.
And yes, this is the story of the DeFeo family. This is technically a prequel. I certainly didn't realize that when I watched it back then, because I don't think I knew much about that part of the story except what was presented in the book and in the Amityville Horror itself. We mentioned the confusion where people are like, is it a prequel or is it a sequel? Because they're not called DeFeo, but I don't think you're going to call the family of this fictitious movie the same. You know, they do it with the Lutzes in the Amityville Horror, but they were in on the book, they were in on the story, parts of the story for the screenplay, et cetera, et cetera. They had a stake in it financially. The DeFeos, for one thing, they're all dead except for Ronnie. I don't think you're going to use that name.
Well, why not?
For your movie.
But why not? They used it in the first movie. It's so fucking strange.
It's mentioned in the movies. It's
Well,
mentioned
it
in all of
opens, though. Yeah,
all
it
the
opens
other
the first movie.
Even in the remake, I mean, and even in The Conjuring, you know?
Yeah, I don't understand. It makes no sense because it doesn't make it clear.
I mean, you can still get sued.
I think it's probably more that if you don't make it exactly the real people, because this is based on the Hans Holzer book, which is about the Ronnie DeFeo murders. If you make it about them, but you don't put their name, you can do wacky shit. You can really explore the depravity that this film offers because, oh my God, it offers some truly just like things that come out of nowhere. Wait, are these the kids that are banging all of a sudden? Oh, and by the way, again, doing some research, I know that you're both really disappointed to learn that there were scenes of them having sex and they took it out of the movie.
Took it out, yeah.
No, I saw that.
Great.
And the mom was supposed to be butt raped.
Yeah, like sodomized by Burt Young. Like, guys, Burt Young plays a schlub, but Burt Young is like so mean, and this is awful.
Oh yeah,
piece of shit.
Oh, I love Burt Young, and it's like this is breaking my heart. Burt Young, this is terrible.
Where do I recognize him from?
Rocky,
Chinatown.
Okay.
Back to School. He's been in a million things.
I recognized the mom from. She was in Mommy Dearest, I think. One of the priest dudes, I think, was the scary German guy in Monster Squad.
Jay, I know James Olsen from One of One Things. Leave anything for us, Matrix? Just bodies.
He's in the Andromeda Strain, which is a great movie if you haven't watched it.
I have not. I just only know him from Commando.
He just died recently, like within the last week or so.
Yeah.
We're on track again. This seems to happen every once in a while. Taylor Hawkins, now James Olsen.
Yeah. I'll tell you both, I had no idea what to expect with this movie, and boy, I was not disappointed. This is generally one of the weirder horror movies I've ever seen.
Yeah, and
like
that's why
American made horror movies. This is up there for like just bizarre.
Yeah.
Just all over the place.
It made me feel gross.
Oh, wonder why.
Just to put this out there, the incest thing has come up as a part of the DeFeo story.
Right.
There are rumors that he and the older daughter in the family were inappropriate with each other at some point.
To the point where there is a theory that the two of them were actually the ones who did it, and then
co-conspirators.
Yeah, and then because she's still alive, right?
No, they all died, but
she may have helped and then been killed as kind of the
right.
There was also implications in that theory that they're a co-conspirator, that maybe they were doing stuff, but there was also a theory that the dad was sexually abusing the daughters as well, which I was kind of surprised they didn't. Yeah, I was kind of surprised they didn't go there in this, because again, like for what this is going for, it is rather accurate.
Right.
The skeleton of the story is there and accurate again to what actually happened.
Right.
I think there's fewer kids in this family though, to simplify things.
Right. There's like two
kids.
2 younger kids, so 3 siblings of his.
Who were adorable, once again.
Because how many kids do we really need to see get murdered on screen? Because 2 is like...
plenty.
2 is 2 more than my limit. So.
It was hard to watch, that whole...
There's a moment where a child is shot, and they're on the ground, and you see their fucking foot twitch. And I'm like, what in the holy hell, movie?
And then there's the boy who's still there, and she's like, hide. And I'm like, okay... Once again, I didn't know this was a prequel, so I'm thinking he might live. The fuck, he's like in tears, this little kid, and is blown away, right? All around, this movie is so... The word I found was grotesque.
Icky.
In all ways. But it doesn't mean that I didn't enjoy it. It did what it was supposed to do, which was make me feel uncomfortable, kind of force me to look at what's happening, and because if I look away, I'm going to miss something. I remember seeing this movie years ago, and I remember there being some type of incest things going on, but I didn't remember them going all the way. I just thought that because it didn't show it, so I just remember maybe my brain didn't comprehend that. I was just
thank God.
Yeah, and now this time around, I was like, wait a minute, did they? As I put it to Chris, they fizzucked.
It's true. I'm glad they didn't show it. But at the same time, like you were saying, Andy, I think for me, the direction I would have gone if I had made this movie is like what you said. The Lutz story is such a horseshit, over the top, nonsensical flies and bleeding. Like, no, what really happened is way worse. It's way more horrifying. A guy walked around, a child in a family, again, teenage child, adult child, walked around in his family's house and murdered his family. That is worse than any flies and goop and shit dripping from the walls ever will be. And here's why. Because look at what was happening in the house and look at the family. And like that for me is a much more interesting movie to come at, which is where this movie's coming at. The story it's coming at it is the DeFeo story. But then you have the guy turning into an actual like demon mutant. So, but that's the fun part of, right?
It's called the Amityville Horror. It's not called the Amityville Haunting. So yeah, it could be a movie just about this family who is completely dysfunctional. There's incest happening under the roof, and spousal abuse and rape, just all this shit.
They moved into the wrong house.
They moved into the wrong house, and Ronnie just sees shit, you know what I mean? And it's affecting him in a certain way, and it could be psychological. Is it really happening, or is his brain just unable to fathom all the shit that's weighing in on him, and he murders everyone? That in itself is a horror story.
Right.
That's the Amityville Horror.
And that's kind of where I'm going. It's like the stuff with the Lutz is bullshit horror. This is the real horror. This is horrifying.
Yeah.
Spousal rape and incest is just, that's horrifying and awful and
gross.
Yes.
and child murders. It's just...
So now you understand why I wasn't overwhelmed by X, because this is one of my favorites of the original trilogy.
Right.
So I rented this movie a ton.
Like, this is shocking.
It didn't gross me out like it does you guys. I just and this was before I knew that it was a part of the real story. I didn't find that out. I watched, again, it was another documentary, but it's not one of the ones that I found this last week or so, where they brought that all up, where, they had this weird relationship and they were doing drugs together and this, that, and the other thing. And
it's not confirmed, mind you. This is just like theories. I mean, I know you know that, but just putting that out there, because again, it's about as confirmed as the Lutz's stuff.
Allegedly.
Right.
Allegedly, Your Honor.
I don't even think I knew it was the prequel until years later. Like, when we watched it, I assumed it was a sequel to the original as well, and then kind of realized, oh wait, this is what happened in the house before. So this is the DeFeo stuff with the horror elements added. Let's take that possession idea and run with it. I like all that. I like weird movies from the early 80s. That's why, again, Halloween 3 is my favorite one of my favorite Halloween movies overall. It's weird.
Oh,
There's
it's like such a weird mainstream movie. Like, the fact that it's essentially mainstream now is weird to me, because it's bizarre.
I rented that one the most out of any of the Halloween movies that were available at the time. I rented this probably more than the original Amityville.
It has two of the most disturbing scenes in the Halloween franchise, and that's the kid watching the TV with the pumpkin mask and the woman trying to fuck with the shamrock pin that's attached to it, and it blows her face up.
Yeah.
Those two things traumatized me. So, yeah.
They're great.
It's a great film, yeah.
It's great horror stuff.
Yeah.
And this has bladder effects. It's got... once you watch it on HD, the makeup effects on the face don't maybe look so good.
Bladder effects are off the charts. Some guy sitting off screen with the
blowing his head up.
Doing it, yeah.
I love that stuff. I don't care how crappy it looks. I love bladder effects. I love limbs bubbling.
Oh, the face splitting. That was just...
Oh, my God. And
tearing off his face.
What an effect. Oh, my God.
It worked, because I was grossed out.
It begs the question, is this happening, or is this, he's metaphor, right? Because again, that's the thing here, that they lean more on the actual, this is actually monsters and stuff. But it's weird, because this is The Exorcist meets the Amityville Horror, right? It's The Exorcist taking place in the Amityville house. That's the way I kind of interpret this movie, to the point where the end of the movie is just The Exorcist. Come into me!
Come into me!
Except James Olsen doesn't yeet himself out the window. He just disappears, ?
Well, he begs him to come into him, and then it does, and he's like, why?
No!
He's like,
never mind. Your proposal is accepted. Oopsie. But that was the weird thing, because the movie could have ended when he murdered his family. And I was like, well, okay, oh, damn. This what...
I forget that we get the investigation.
Right.
Because I looked at the time and I was like, oh, there's like 25 minutes left. And that's
that
what
also,
I don't remember, because it kind of stops the movie cold once we get into that. I like that it's in there because it presents that the devil made me do it defense.
Yeah. I did like the breaking him out of the place, though. I thought that was really funny. Just having him whack him in the back of the head. And he just was like, forgive me. And then sneaking him out. I thought that was pretty cool. Stuff like that is always silly to me. So.
Yeah, and none of that actually happened. Just so anybody that's not part of the DeFeo story.
You're telling me Ronnie DeFeo's face didn't split open and a monster crawled out?
He didn't get broken out of jail by his priest.
The way he rolled off of him in that finale in the attic, tell me that wasn't, one, cool, but also hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. When he's on top of him and he, I don't know, he presents it with the cross or something. And the way he rolled was just...
Sonic the Hedgehog. Gotta go fast.
Jesus Christ. I never rolled that fast as a kid going down a hill. And it just looked so funny, but I loved it.
I like how bleak this movie is, too. Because like what happens at what like no, but nobody's really redeemed at the end of this movie. He's still going to jail for murdering his family, regardless of whether or not he's possessed anymore. Like you're still fucked, pal. Like
he comes to, and the priest is like, "Don't worry, you'll be all right." It's like you're still under arrest, bro. Like you killed everyone.
Like you're going back to jail, and you're gonna serve a life sentence for murdering your fucking family. Like 4 concurrent life sentences, my friend.
It made me sad.
Is it kind of problematic to think you're making movies about Ronnie DeFeo actually being possessed when we all know he totally wasn't possessed? Is that why that's not his name in this movie? Is so that they're not like lending credence to the idea that he actually was possessed? That's like the whole Conjuring 3 thing, right?
I think it's a good idea not to use the name, but that's one of the reasons that people give for it being confusing as to whether it's a prequel or a sequel, because it's not the DeFeo name, and it's like, well, what the fuck?
But it's the same fucking story.
It does make you feel like this happens after the Lutz story.
Yes,
that's what I felt.
Well, it opens on the house the way it opened on the house in the first movie, so it's like, this is chronologically later, not earlier. Yeah.
I also got 80s vibes. So
and the time and the place, and
also
else.
In the first movie they put like the day on the screen. We're keeping track of it with like title cards, not title cards, but like cards throughout
day
the movie.
19, and that's from the book, and they do it in the 2005 thing too. Because they were only there for 28 days.
Yeah.
Well, why not do that in this movie? Maybe they also didn't say the DeFeo family, because if they had said the DeFeo family, you would know that there's no stakes in this movie. You know what I mean? Because it's like, well, they're all going to die anyway.
We know where this is going, yeah.
Better not get attached to Diane Franklin.
Andy, if it makes you feel any better, he didn't chase anybody around the house. They were all killed in their beds.
That's another thing. I was like...
Yeah. And that's another thing that people point to as, well, it's not the prequel because he didn't chase anybody. And it's like, well, come on. We're splitting hairs here.
Fucking setup.
What I really would have liked for this film is, now that you've mentioned it, is if we didn't know that it was a prequel up until the finale.
And it's the Lutz is showing up at the end of the movie.
That's how The Conjuring would have done it.
Right.
No, more so like we think it's a sequel. We're not really given a time, a date of when this is going on. So we just think it's another family moving in after the Lutzes have left. And it's not until he picks up the gun and starts offing everyone in their bed, and you're like, wait a minute, what? And we realize that would have been kind of cool. But then it's like, how do you introduce everyone's by name, which is then name changes, but then you'd be like, well, it's still not. It's basically this movie. I didn't know it was until he started killing everyone. And I was like, I just thought it was like history repeating itself type of thing.
The first one that this is the canonical sequel to mentions the real family by name. So you would not be an idiot to think that this is not a prequel.
That's another reason that people use, is they mention the DeFeos in the first one.
To the point of saying he looks like him. Yeah.
He's named Sonny in this, which is one letter away from Ronnie. Come on.
To be fair, none of the fathers, the religious characters in this film, they never mention anything about the house having been haunted before. So that may be like the one giveaway that should, like, maybe we missed. You're having to do the work for the movie in that respect. It's maybe just the film being lazy and not wanting to steer into that direction this time. Again, the James Olsen character, realistically, if this was a sequel, would be like, remember when the Lutz family was here?
Right.
It's happening again.
Right.
It's a history of, back then it was confusing and people just keep going. It's obviously the DeFeo story.
Right.
But people...
The movie's doing the audience no favors.
Ronnie could have looked a little better. He looked like a disheveled twink. Like who's just had enough, sell by date.
Oh, those fucking scenes between him and Diane Franklin are...
Come on.
Ugh.
It's one thing for him to tell her to take off her top. It was another for her to be like, okay.
Went and read the IMDb to make sure okay, these are family members. In that scene, I was like, she is just going along with this a lot more just willingly than anyone realistically should be.
Yeah,
you would hope.
Right.
These things happen.
Ladies and gentlemen, fucking your family is not okay. I think we just need to say that out loud. Not okay.
If you do, your kids will end up looking like Demon Ronnie at the end of this movie.
Yeah.
Just swollen.
I guess I have a different take on these things, because obviously these things happen in life.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was handled where she's in shock, like at every request he's making. Also, and this isn't necessarily a good thing, but she's shown as flirtatious with him earlier in the movie.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You know, I'm sure that there are siblings that have that vibe that also never do anything about it, but that have a weird flirty thing.
You're too close. Yeah.
I've witnessed this in families before.
I'll take it from me.
You wonder, you're like, that's odd. Sometimes siblings seem too close.
It's consensual incest.
It's handled in such a way as that she's just in shock and surprised, and
I thought she was turned on.
And
I thought she was into it. It's her older
brother who she goes to bat for throughout the film. I mean, she backs him up.
Right.
How many more innuendos are you gonna make? She went to bat for him. She backed up for him,
and then she fucking gets angry at him because he calls her a damn bitch. And
she gets jealous later on. I mean, it's a whole weird dynamic.
It's weird. And then
but that happens in real life.
But because he called her that, she screams, "Don't touch me again!" And I'm thinking, you were gonna let him?
How many times has this happened?
Yeah,
that is the disturbing thing. Like, just saying that line makes you think, "Oh my God, they're still doing this."
Yeah, right. Because the mom heard it.
And the mom saw it too. She was like, she saw the way he was touching her, and it was like,
at the birthday,
she slapped her. She's
big gag.
She said, "What did you do with your brother? You sick fuck."
I like that the explicit sex scene, or more explicit sex scene, was cut, so you are left wondering until she goes to confess what she's done. And that's more impactful to me, that she's confessing that, and you're like, oh shit, they really did, and they did went all the way. And then you're going, okay, this is messed up. This kid is messed up.
I would hope
it's not just in there to be totally salacious, and it's something taken from this real story in particular. Could they have not had it in there? Sure. Would it be as wild as of a movie? No.
We'd have nothing. We'd have nothing to talk about.
Craziness of it's part of the Italianness of this movie.
Yes,
that was written in there, and they were going to go with this angle of the story, which I'm surprised was even part of the rumors back then, but I guess it already was, and make this thing as wacky as possible.
Right. Yeah,
how European of them.
Well, that's what I appreciate about the Italians and their horror movies. They're going to throw some wacky shit in there.
Like the end of Bay of Blood.
It's staying.
Right.
It's staying. Cutting room floor where?
Well, but that's the thing. Like, they did pull back. They didn't include all of it.
Artistic choices, because like he said, even I agree, it's more impactful when it's hinted and then we find out 1 minute later they did do it.
Yeah, but let's not kid ourselves. If they could have put it in and made it work, they would have.
I just wouldn't have watched it.
Sure, but you didn't want to watch what already happened any more than I did, because it was already upsetting and strange. And
I know. I was like, you're looking at your sister's boobies.
I'm having a Mandela effect here, because I could have sworn that the spousal rape was in the film. I remember that being one of the things that disturbed me about the movie. And I guess it's just implication and their interactions with each other. Yeah, Burt Young, like you've mentioned, is just an absolute piece of garbage in this.
He's a fucking monster.
I fucking hate him.
Goes to the story and how most people felt that their relationship, I think more so he with Ronnie than maybe the rest of the family. But
very antagonistic.
It is, especially because, it's very telling that they even applaud when they hug. That means something, Yeah. That means they don't have this type of relationship. The fact that you have to applaud them hugging finally means something wrong is here.
Pretty fucked up.
The dad, my God, when the kids just keep getting framed by ghosts.
Yeah.
Oh, the painting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stop writing on the walls, you dumb fucking kids. Like, what?
He just immediately takes his belt off, and I'm like, are you serious? And then slaps
in front of the fucking preacher, dude. In front of the father.
That's when he slaps her in the kitchen. And
I'm surprised that you're so surprised by this.
Well, I'm not surprised by it, because these things happen. It affected me in a personal way, having not a great relationship with my father. Seeing that the first thing to go to is manipulation, yelling, and whipping. It just reminded me how much I fucking hate men. So I was like,
well, that's what small men do. So, and he's the epitome of a small
little guy.
And that's the sad thing is like Burt Young plays against types so small, literally and figuratively.
I mean, figuratively though, in this case, like that's what small men do.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, they're angry.
Not small in stature. Small.
Burt Young's also a small man.
Short. We'll say short, not small.
I beat my kids, emotionally abuse my son. I don't know what his relationship was with the older daughter, and
distant at best.
Yeah, I guess so. I just fucking hated him. So when he was shot, I felt nothing. But the mom in front of the kids and all that stuff made me really sad. This is a horror film. That's what
it's horrifying.
It's horror. Yeah. So it did what it was supposed to do.
Right.
It is a legit horror film. This one.
I understand as much as y'all do that why people love Freddy and Jason and stuff, because that's safe. That's fake. It's not real. Because what Jeffrey Dahmer did and what Ed Gein did and what John Wayne Gacy did is actually horrifying.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think about that and see those photos and immerse yourself in that world like you do with this film, you understand what true horror is. It's not, the fucking wall's bleeding. It's your father is beating the ever-loving shit out of you, raping your mom, and because of it, it's affecting you to the point where you are incestuous with your own sister and you're driven to murder your family. That's horrifying. More horrifying than flies on a window ever could.
That's a tragedy. Fuck.
Yeah, completely.
But in tragedy, there's horror.
Right. This movie's a success.
Now, how do the horror elements work, though, aside from the story? The DeFeo story, like the possession.
I liked it. It was scary.
You get that satanic panic feel from this movie, especially since he's hearing the voices mainly through his Walkman.
Yeah.
Which,
kill them. They're animals.
Again, I was old enough to remember when this was a thing. I'm not sure what kind of music he's listening to, but it should have been intermixed with some heavy metal,
Metal adjacent.
Satan laughing spreads his wings. Oh, Lord, yeah.
It's also pretty stylistic. There's a lot of roaming camera shots in this that are just absolutely fantastic. One towards the end when he's getting ready to go on his spree, and the camera is like following him real low, and then it goes up over his head and all the way around so that he's upside down. That is just beautiful stuff. A lot of Steadicam work in this that works really well. Only real issue I have with this one, because I think the act in the Amityville Horror is all pretty stellar, is I'm not buying Retanya Alda in this movie at all.
The mom you're talking about? Yeah, it was theater acting, what she was doing. She was performing for the people in the back. Even getting shot, she didn't really act like she had been shot. She acted like she had a stroke, where she's like
falling down thing.
I think that was one of the things my girlfriend had pointed out. She said this is actually her favorite one as well. She grew up with the Amityville too. So she was excited to watch it with me.
So
and
she's weird like me.
Yes, very weird. She pointed out, the mother's face through the whole movie is hysterical. And I was like, well, I'm in for a ride.
It's just this.
Yeah.
Oh my God, when the blood comes out of the holy water thing, and she would not stop screaming. The mom.
Yeah.
Like, we get it. There's blood on the floor. And she screamed for like a solid minute. It's not like she saw someone dying. It's just wouldn't you just more likely scream, what the fuck? Like, she was screaming her head off like someone was coming at her. So that was funny. Yeah, I liked her face. And yeah, I guess I didn't buy her. She stood out as like very cartoony compared to everyone else who was more like based in reality. And that's saying something because one of them is possessed by a demon.
What kind of demon? We will never know. Is that the demon's form there at the end of the movie when he comes out of his body?
Has to be because it's in the third one.
Right. What is that?
It's a sperm whale.
It's Pazuzu.
I am Pazuzu.
Is it?
No.
I don't know. Cookie the Clown is what it is. I don't know.
Native American demon.
What do they call those pizza cookies? It's a Pazuki.
Oh, not Pazuki dessert they invented? I'm kind of crazy about it.
Get your own.
That's the thing we kind of mentioned about Amityville Horror that they gloss over in this movie. That was the poltergeist thing, where it's like, it's built on top of an Indian burial ground. Like, that's not the case. That is a complete fucking fabrication. 100%.
I think it's in all three of these and in the 2005, the Indian something or other.
Yeah.
Ketchum House is mentioned. I think she looks that up in that book. The house has a history, and witches were booted out of Salem, and they set up shop here.
Tortured Native Americans.
An ancient Indian what?
Fear Street did it better, folks.
In demonology, constant negative energy in one area can actually create a demon form. It can give birth to a new demon. So that could be what that monster is in the second and third one, is that so much bad shit has happened in that house that it has fully manifested itself.
Well, that's what they say in the documentaries. That's what one of the psychics says, either the Warrens or somebody else.
But it's a prequel. It's the prequel.
I'm talking about the Native American slaughtering and like that. Things happened there before the DeFeo thing.
Right, which is all of them basically say.
So this demon is just getting stronger and stronger, and
Or is it just because you're not supposed to disturb the bones in a cemetery?
Isn't all of America
haunted?
Ancient Indian burial ground, though, guys.
Is it not? Right, yeah. More or less.
All of America.
We talk about it on my show, Scary Stories We Tell. We talk about on all these cryptid. Whenever they talk about cryptids, a lot of the time they're like, well, there's Native American stories about
the Wendigo.
Well, not even those things, I believe. More it's like, trying to think, but it's like something like some lake monster or something. I forget what the hell it was. We just talked about it. And it was like, at the time, Native Americans said that they saw a creature. And it's like, how many times do I have to hear this? Sometimes I feel like that's just some shit somebody says, because at this point you kind of expect it. Yeah. But I don't put any stock into it. Like some things I do, Bigfoot, sure. But when it's like a lake monster that is then debunked, it's like, no. And you use that to try to convince everybody. And I wonder how many times that's happened, because it's a plot device in horror movies, an awful lot.
It could be more legitimate in the case of the Amityville horror, because it's not so much that nothing paranormal happened there first. It was the slaughtering and torture of innocent souls. And when in ghost mythology, if somebody dies in a really tragic way and it's unjust, it can come back as some kind of demonic presence.
Right.
Or poltergeist or grudge, like vengeful demon. Different cultures is different things. So that could explain if that house is on top of angry spirits, it has obviously manifested itself into demonic form. That could be what caused, I don't know, Ronnie DeFeo. I'm talking in the films. I'm not talking about in real life, to become possessed and see things. And so it's not so much, I get what you're saying. In this one, it's based on people that were killed, and their vengeful spirits are now trapped here, and it's just created portals to hell because it's that powerful.
Portals to Chud monsters.
Chud. Cannibalistic, humanoid, underground dwellers.
That thing is creepy.
It's a great design, though.
For the sake of the movie, it has to look scary. Demons aren't going to appear all sexy. And I mean, I guess they could, because they had the sister with the full face of makeup telling the priest.
Oh, yeah, that was creepy.
Yeah, to do things to her.
I forgot about that part, too.
You know, her face looked completely different with makeup on it. I was like, Jesus Christ. She looked like a rock star, like an 80s rock star.
Kind of reminds me of the defaced statue in The Exorcist again, all painted up like that, like a horror.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anything else on part 2? Any more disgusting attributes of the film we want to dive into?
How many times can this house blow up and still be there?
Boy.
It's just a fireball.
Okay.
And it just heals itself.
It's a prequel. It can't blow up because the Lutzes have to move in the next year.
All right. Well, now that I know that, I'm going to have to go and rewatch it.
You know what my favorite piece of real trivia about all of Amityville is? The people who live there now changed the fucking house. They got rid of the windows.
Quite a while ago, I think. One of the next couple after the Lutzes were like, yeah, I think we're going to get rid of those creepy windows.
Isn't that funny? That's like the funniest thing. It's like, fuck it. We don't even care anymore. Good.
Our house.
Probably would too, to be honest with you.
I would.
And I wonder how much spirit present stuff they've noticed. Probably none.
They're there hasn't been anything in the house.
Right. Yeah.
Annabelle's there right now doing something. I don't know.
The girl had a Raggedy Ann doll, and
that's Annabelle.
The original.
And they said the devil made me do it.
And the Warrens, plus science, and also Jesus. So, all of these things make sense.
Warning. This time you'll be inside the world's most terrifying house. Amityville 3D. Rated PG. Now playing at a theater near you.
On to the third entry of this original trilogy, Amityville 3D, also known as Amityville 3, The Demon, because people were pissed off when it was released on DVD as Amityville 3D and wasn't presented in 3D, so they changed the title, or maybe even VHS. This comes out the very next year, and I believe again produced by De Laurentiis, but I may be mistaken on that. I couldn't find it in the credits or in the IMDb page. Directed by Richard Fleischer, who had some dealings with horror. He directed The Boston Strangler, a great Mia Farrow thriller called See No Evil, Soylent Green, and Conan the Destroyer and Red Sonja, which are, of course, fantasy films. Written by David Ambrose, although listed in the credits, I guess as a pseudonym of his, as William Wales, who wrote the HBO movie Blackout, which if you haven't seen is pretty cool, and The Survivor with Jenny Agutter. And we've got new music this time by Howard Blake, who wasn't much of a composer, but did a lot of arranging and conducting on films like Sisters, The Hunger, and The Changeling. Based on, is it Stephen Kaplan, who was known for debunking hoaxes?
That's right. The
premise is that Tony Roberts, as this John Baxter, is going to investigate the house as a hoax. The Lutz's experience in the house as a hoax. So we get a great opening with him and Candy Clark as his partner Melanie going to a seance in the Amityville Horror House. I absolutely love stuff like this. And I couldn't remember. I'm like, wait a minute. Did they really lose a kid? Is that how this starts? Because I had it in my head that this was about debunking the whole thing. I used to be way into Harry Houdini, and that was one of his things, was debunking debunking mediums. I guess to say fake mediums is kind of redundant. Yeah, so it looks like a seance is going on, and then Candy Clark hops up and starts taking pictures of the deal, and we get to see the behind the scenes, which I just absolutely love in this movie. This one is probably my least favorite of the original three, but it's still kind of fun because of that debunking aspect.
I thought it was a great way to open the movie because just like you, I forgot that that's how it even opened. I genuinely thought this poor woman wanted to reach her son that had died or whatever. But then I started wondering, when did that happen? When did your son die here? Because we saw the first two movies. And I don't remember you. Movie lore is different. So as soon as she jumped up and started taking pictures, I was like, what is she doing? I still had not caught on yet until I saw a guy with a stick holding it looked like a wad of plastic wrap. And I was like, oh, they're exposing them. Okay, that's funny. To get spit in the face, though.
Yes, the medium ends up spitting in Candy Clark's face.
What a bitch.
Well, if Candy Clark only had to worry about being spat in the face in this movie, she'd be okay.
And I liked her. I liked her.
I love Candy Clark.
I'll tell y'all, I'm fucking surprised by how brutal these last two movies have been.
Mm-hmm.
This movie's pretty gnarly, right?
Got some deaths in this one. This is the first one to be PG, for one thing. So already I'm thinking, not much happens except that their debunking gets debunked. There's not going to be any incest subplot.
Thank God.
Or Margot Kidder in one legging and a night shirt thing stretching by the mirror.
Unfortunately.
It's rough.
People being killed off that I was ready to follow through the whole film, and then they just eat it. And I'm like, okay. So
in pretty horrific ways, too.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Candy Clark in particular.
What the fuck?
Stuck in her car and lit on fire to the point where she is a charred ass corpse.
And for what? Like, just to horrify me? Obviously, because, you know, we're watching her. Poor thing is over at his house waiting for him, the prick. I'll get to the elevator scene because that was funny. Waiting for him, and she's reacting the same way I would if I was in there by myself, just trying to open every door, turn on all the lights, nothing's working. You start panicking, all this freaky shit happens to her, and she finally gets out, and I was like, okay, cool, she's never gonna go back, she's gonna make it through this film. But then I forgot that the house can follow you.
It attaches to you.
Yeah, so I was like, wait,
where do we keep that through line in this movie?
For her to go the way she went, I was rooting for her because I found her to be charming and funny and really smart, because I love when he says, I didn't see anything. She says, I don't give a shit what you didn't. I saw what I saw, okay? And you're not going to convince me otherwise, so I'm not going back in that house. And I'm just glad to see someone finally stand up to the people who are like, well, I didn't experience it, so it must have not have happened. Fuck what you didn't see. I saw what I saw, okay? And I see what I see in these photos. It's not a coincidence, all right? That was also creepy, the realtor.
Which harkens back to The Omen and predetermining all the deaths in the pictures.
Second Candy Clark movie this year, Mr. Begley, that you have programmed.
She is awesome. I kind of forgot she was in this, actually. And I kind of forgot that she's not his wife.
Right? Yeah, there was that.
Tess Harper, and they're getting a divorce.
Well, she pretended to be his wife. That's the problem.
I was so thrown off by the beginning because...
Me too.
I had already looked up the cast and stuff and written that all down, and I'm like, Tony Roberts and Tess Harper are married. And yet they're sitting here talking about their dead son, Ricky. I was like, wait, well, what's going on here? Especially when they're in the car. She says, you're really going to buy this house? And he's like, oh, it'll be good. And I thought he meant it'll be good for us. You know, we can live here. And I'm thinking that they're husband and wife. And then it cuts to him packing his shit up over at his ex-wife or wife. Currently, I don't know what they were. I was like, who the hell is she? I thought it was like his older daughter or something. And then she brought up the word divorce. And then I just had to remember, oh, that's right. At the beginning, she said, and so is not really my husband. That made it clear. Hey, you got to be paying attention to these old movies, you know? Seriously do, because they're not going to spell it out for you. They're going to make it as confusing as possible. Yeah, not like today. No. We're not dumbing it down for you. At least not back then. Exactly. Not everybody gets a backstory. Not everybody gets an origin story. Right. You got to just keep up. Not that very, very fresh-faced Meg Ryan either. Hey, she's funny in this. She is already got that quirky persona. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I think she had done one film prior to this and some TV stuff, and Lori Loughlin, I think, had only done some TV, or maybe it's the other way around. Man. Very early in both their careers, and Meg Ryan has already got her thing going, and it's great. She was so funny. She was so funny to watch. Very good in this. Yeah, just the way she would react to things, and she played it very real, but she wasn't a ditz. She was just a little more, well, as you said, quirky than the other was more. And she's the one that's open to the stuff. Right, but she's also scared when she's presented with it. You kind of start to assume, usually in these, the trope is the one that's open to it ends up being the first one to go. Yeah. Because they like to dabble in the occult. They poke the bear. Yeah. They've got to go first because you don't do that stuff. 9 times out of 10, you're right. That's a nice little flip of the script. We never really see them again either, though. No, once Aunt Becky gets drowned. There's not much use for her after her friend dies. That just happens. Yeah. Spoilers on all these if you haven't already caught on to that. Ladies and gentlemen, too late. We're jumping all around the place, but it works all right. It's a disjointed film, though, because you have where they go to this house to debunk this spiritualist, this medium. And then he's like, oh, hey, I should buy this house because have you seen my apartment? It's tiny. Okay. That sets up this thing where he's in the process now of moving. So he's not there a lot of the time, but people are still showing up to the house. Mm-hmm. You've got his dying in the house, disjointed family life because of the separation. So he's not always there with his wife and daughter. And sometimes the daughter is with him or goes to the house. Sometimes she's at home with the mom. Candy Clark goes in and out of the house a couple of times. It's got this fractured, confusing structure to it. He's not even really living there fully yet until halfway through the movie. I understand that it's a plot device so that bad things can happen pretty much when he's not around, so he never sees them until the very end.
Right, and everyone else is seeing it and he's not. I loved the Dolores scene. That was great. I was already getting anxious for her because as soon as she shut the door, nothing was opening. Nobody was there, and she just kept hearing rumbling around the house, and she starts to panic. And I don't know, there was something almost cute about it. And for her to go and open the door and see a freaky woman holding a flashlight.
Huge flashlight.
Huge, yeah. Which can cause a lot of damage because those things are fucking heavy. Realizing that's Dolores. Moments like that break the tension where you're like, okay, she's good. She's not alone and she's smiling and we're leaving it at that. But the elevator scene was so funny because it was going up and it starts to go up really fast, right? And it just kind of shows him like this. And then it cuts away. And when it cuts back, he's just laying flat on the floor.
I love that.
I like Tony Roberts' reaction to that elevator.
But like, we didn't get to see him fall to the floor or anything. It just cuts away, cuts back. He's on the floor, just like.
It probably looked ridiculous, Andy.
Right.
It was so funny.
Right. That's what I'm going with.
And then when it's going down and he's up in the corner.
Ghosts, demons,
spookiness, general high weirdness.
Followed him to his agent's office.
It didn't want him to come home yet. I'm surprised that when there's characters like Dolores,
who never shows up again, by the way.
Dolores was there by herself for a little while. She didn't experience shit.
Well, we don't know because she doesn't say anything.
We never see her again.
Maybe that's why she had the flashlight.
Well, I thought she had the flashlight because she could hear someone like panting in the living room or something. I don't know. It's always interesting to me when there are characters in movies, not just in paranormal movies, but like slasher films where I'm like, who's off limits? The neighbors seem to be doing fine in Halloween, like, and he's running around killing teenagers, but everyone else is just off limits.
Not in the later movies.
No, and that one is
in the new Halloween. That's not the case, my friend.
Yeah. You know, somebody like Dolores hanging out in the house and nothing happens to her, or the guy friends, Meg Ryan and them. All they really experienced was the glass, but they thought it was, what's the girl's name?
Susan?
Lori Loughlin, Aunt Becky?
Yeah.
A bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, still a terrible actress, Lori Loughlin.
I just thought it was funny when the glass went flying and Meg Ryan's like, what the hell are you doing throwing the glass against the wall? They all just immediately thought it was her. She was like, fuck you guys. Like, and then they just decided to go on a boat.
I love the trope in horror movies of the child who doesn't listen to the parent and dies for it. Because that's the Lori Loughlin character in this movie.
Yeah,
like, do not go back to the house. Do not go in the house. Please do not go to the house.
You're not allowed to go to the house. I forbid it. Do you understand? You have to understand, I'm scared, okay? She's saying, I love you that much. Don't go in the house. Your dad is full of shit because he doesn't think anything's really there. But I know better, all right? And what does she do? She goes to the house. She dies.
Drowns. She just drowns.
But it's frustrating. We didn't see it happen, right?
No. They take the boat out, and then that's when the mom shows up.
And she's wet.
I love this part where she walks into the house, and she's just drenched.
Yeah.
So you're thinking, what's happening here?
Yeah.
Since this is the one that I've only seen once before, I'm like, oh, the boat wrecked. And she's the only one that made it out. And she's like, fuck them guys. They're all dead in the lake.
She's in
I'm going to
shock.
go lay down for a bit. Yeah, she's in shock. Then the dad gets there and then the boat pulls up and they're taking her out. And you're like, oh, shit.
Goosebumps, man.
This is weird.
I love shit like that.
I think that's probably the best scene in the movie.
I live for stuff like that because you as the audience, you saw what the mom saw. So you can only imagine her reaction going out, and he's like, she's right there. No, she was just inside. I just saw her. The remake has a couple moments like that. Those are the best moments in the remake, like the teddy bear. I don't know if you want to talk about that yet, but I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Things like that always give me goosebumps.
Right.
Now, if it's overdone, you're like, oh my God, how many more twists can there be? But if it's just one or two in a movie where you get the hair on the back of your neck sticks up or something, and you're like, whoa, that was fucking creepy. I like that for this movie, where we saw her, and just like the mom, we were like, what the hell's going on? Why are you wet? And why aren't you talking? Then the ambulance shows up. I still didn't know she was dead yet, so I had assumed she jumped ship and the friends were looking for her, and now she saw something. I don't know. And then we see her being laid out, and I was like, oh, she's dead. She saw her ghost. And I'm assuming since she died on the property, that's her spirit is now trapped. I like things like that. I'm not sure of many movies that do things like that. It's a classic ghost thing to do.
It's a very real thing that happens.
Yeah, where, I picked up...
See, you've heard it before. I mean, I saw my mom, and then I got a call my mom was dead.
Right. Yeah. I picked up a hitchhiker. She was really sweet. She said her name was so-and-so. Wait, so-and-so? Did she look like this? Yeah, why? She's been dead for 2 years. Dun, dun, dun.
Large Marge sent me.
Did you say Large Marge?
She just dropped me off.
That's impossible. Large Marge? She's...
It was 10 years ago, on a night just like tonight. Why, tonight's the anniversary. Worst accident I ever seen.
But that means the Large Marge I was riding with was...
her ghost.
Things like that can easily be really cheesy, but when done right, it's just so good. And I think it worked in this one.
It's the most effective scare of the movie, as far as I'm concerned. Forget all the histrionics at the end and the frost blowing out of the basement all over Candy Clark and things like that. That scene, you're not sure what's going on. You're experiencing it with the mom. And even though she doesn't realize what's happening, we do. So we're getting all sides of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I still was thinking they're going to revive her.
Yeah.
Okay, that didn't happen. So she's dead. But later on, when all the investigators are there and Dr. West is saying, like, she's tied to this entity in the house and we'll be able to free her. And I'm thinking, free her and then she's going to come back, right? I don't want their daughter to be dead. That's so upsetting in this.
Yeah, it is, especially as like watching them as parents, that they obviously love her. They want her around. The mom wants her to stay there with her. The dad wants her to stay there. And she's, aside from disobeying, but all kids do that, she seemed like a generally good kid. To see her just go out like that, her spirit's trapped in the house. I don't blame the mom for not immediately just being angry at the dad. She just realized, well, if she's here, then I'm here. This is where I'm staying. If that's what it takes for me to be here, because it was creepy. The next day, she's just ironing, and he's like, "What the hell happened in here?" This is her way of showing us that she's here, so I'm here too. I'd probably do the same thing. I'd probably stay wherever,
and trash your kitchen.
Yep, he's here. I don't care. My daughter's here.
But then it turns out she's not.
I don't care. She's here. This is
I know, but boy, what is there is the real question.
Bazooki.
Bazooki, the chocolate chip cookie demon.
The sperm demon.
God, Chud Part 2 again.
You were talking about the pictures earlier and the distortion on the face. I got a huge laugh when Candy Clark was blowing them up, and then she looks at the magnifying glass, and there's that little tiny picture of the demon's face on his face. It's like so totally funny. Clear, perfect circle amongst all this, distortion on his face. I was like, ooh.
It was almost like the demon was like photobombing. It didn't look. It wasn't ominous. It wasn't like something out of Insidious,
That did not age well.
It was not scary.
No, it was silly, and it was kind of cute.
But the creature design in the movie is kind of silly and kind of cute and funny looking. Like when that thing pops out, when Robert Joy is like, "Come back to us, Susan," and it's like, oh my God, like we have strayed so far from the first movie in James Brolin with some sludge.
Fluffy,
now it's like
down there.
A full ass creature, like a creature with breathes fire apparently and drags Robert Joy to hell.
And he's like, "Now, free yourself now!" And
leave me. Yeah, all right, later. We're out of here then.
I like him. I think he was in the remake of The Hills Have Eyes. He was one of the mutants. He was just recently in HBO Max's Judy as one of the executives. Oh, no, not Judy. Julia. The Julia Child series.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's in that as well as Land of the Dead. I'm always happy every time I see him pop up and stuff.
Yeah, I was surprised.
Yeah.
He seems younger to me, because this is 83, and I'm like, I know him from CSI New York or something. He's one of the coroners, I think, and a bunch of later stuff, and he doesn't look that old in any of that.
Yeah, and you don't forget that face. Happy to see him in there.
And you don't forget that face, especially after it's been half charred by the demon in the well. What a wild like this movie just goes fully off the rails. I kind of loved it though. At the end of the movie, I was like, this is so fucking dumb. Who cares anymore?
It's great.
What does all that setup in the house remind you of again, Chris? What is this harkening back to? Or what harkens back to that? All that equipment.
The Conjuring.
Conjuring,
100%.
Insidious.
Yeah, that's exactly
Poltergeist.
Where's Lee
Poltergeist?
Yeah. Zelda from Poltergeist. They're in the house. And the demon.
Many movies have done this, and I'm always happy every time that they do.
I love it. I love it.
It's completely ripping off, but I don't care. I just like it. I like that they've set up in a room somewhere else, and that room is off limits for some reason.
And you just have to believe that all the equipment that they have does what they say it does.
It works. It works. Don't worry about it.
And I love that the movie ends on kind of a downer. Like you said, Mark, you think that like, oh, maybe the daughter's gonna crawl out of the well, and it's like, motherfuckers, like,
It took Robert Joy, so give us Lori Loughlin back.
Nope.
How freaky was that nightmare that he had though, where she popped out of the water? Was it supposed to be his dead daughter?
Yeah, that was supposed to be her.
Yeah, when they're looking in the well. Yeah. I'm like, her hair's down there. I see hair or something. She's down there.
And then you just see this a little bit, and then finally just...
Of course, they have to overdo it because of the 3D.
Right.
It's like the Candy Clark scene where Candy Clark dies, where they have the pipe go through the window. And then she lights on fire, burns to death, and then her corpse is dancing around for whatever reason because of the 3D effects.
I was rooting for her so hard. Just adored her. I don't know who she is, but she left an impression on me.
She's just one of those quirky 70s actresses who pops up in the most random kind of movies. She's in The Man Who Fell from Earth.
Mark meant The Man Who Fell to Earth.
Citizen's Band.
A movie that we did.
I'm going to have to check it out.
Have you seen Zodiac?
Really like...
the Fincher one.
The Gyllenhaal one, right?
Yeah.
She's the secretary at the San Francisco Chronicle that brings the letters to them all the time. It was in American Graffiti.
She was fantastic. She brought something to this movie that was like...
She and Meg Ryan are cut from the same kind of quirky cloth.
Yeah, it made the movie fun. It for lack of a better word, as I was watching them, now that you've explained the sequel to me, it makes more sense. But as I was watching the third one, I was like, they're bringing the film a little bit of class, a little more elegance that I want from an Amityville type of movie. This movie didn't feel grotesque. It just felt sad. It's still scary and like tragic, but her death, I was like, did she just die? Is this how she goes? And then the corpse, like you said, was kind of dancing. I was expecting it to step out of the car and just start walking towards
I'm not sure why it does that weird movement, other than for the 3D.
I don't know either. Yeah.
But it made me wonder. I was like, what would have happened if Sam Raimi had directed this?
Yeah, I would have flown out of the car and bitten that guy in the face or something.
The whole movie would have just been macabre. Just nothing but
it would
death.
have been like the last 5 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
Right.
I wish that the movie was more like the end of the movie where it just loses its mind completely. Because whatever movie that is...
Sign me up.
Yeah, is a trip. Because the last 10 minutes of this movie are wild on its own.
I loved it. It was...
That destruction is epic, and everything's flying towards the camera. You've got men being pulled through windows. A gal gets smashed by a door.
The door!
Pushes her through a window.
I love that.
And then the monster.
I'm glad it was an actual house exploding too. Like, there was budget enough to blow up a house or a set. There's nothing like bad explosions in movies where you can tell it's like either a model or something. I'm thinking of a movie called She-Devil with Roseanne and Meryl Streep.
And Ed Begley Jr.
Oh, Ed Begley Jr.
Where she blows up the house, and it's such a cheesy scene because it's clearly like a copy and paste. Like the house is, she wasn't even in front of the house when it happens, but it shows her walking away. Ever since I saw that as a kid, I see a house exploding and I appreciate it when it's done well because I always go back to She-Devil. Blowing up the house, and it looks awful. So this movie, it did it, and I was like, I truly believe that house is fucking gone.
Well, you mentioned this one has a budget. This is probably the last one with a real budget, because from here on out until we get the 2005 remake, all of these are TV movies.
TV movies are straight to video.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that on the following like recommendeds after watching the first three. And you can tell, I was like, how is the house still there? And my girlfriend had to point out that it are obviously made for TV or straight to VHS type of movies.
I'll tell you why, because they don't really take place in the house mostly. They are objects from the house.
Okay.
Get out into the world.
Get out into the world, and could be in any state, because the house has reach like that we've discussed. It can create new hauntings in other places.
I mean,
Amityville 4, The Evil Escapes.
Would you like me to go through the list of Amityville movies?
One of them, Andy, may be in.
I might be in one of them.
Amityville 4, The Evil Escapes. The Amityville Curse. Amityville, It's About Time. Amityville, A New Generation. Amityville Dollhouse. And then the next one is the 2005 reimagining. The Amityville Haunting. My Amityville Horror, and this is a documentary. The Amityville Asylum. Amityville Death House. The Amityville Playhouse. Amityville Vanishing Point. He's got The Conjuring 2 in here because of that cold open. The Amityville Toy Box. The Amityville Terror. Amityville No Escape. The Amityville Exorcism. Amityville Prison. Amityville The Awakening, and this is the one that I've seen with Bella Thorne and
that kid that played the Joker in Gotham. I think he's in.
Yeah, and Jennifer Jason Leigh. There's an incest storyline in that too. There's an inappropriate thing with Jennifer Jason Leigh and the son in that one.
Oh my. Okay.
I don't think they go as far as
fucking
Amityville 2, but it's implied. Amityville The Final Chapter. Amityville Mount Misery Road. The Amityville Murders, and this is the one that I've also seen that rejoins Burt Young and Diane Franklin, the father and the daughter from the second film. And I believe it's also the DeFeo story. Amityville Cop, Amityville High, Amityville Clown House, Witches of Amityville, Amityville Island, which is the one that Chris put on the Plex for some ungodly reason.
That's the one with the shark.
Amityville Vampire, the Amityville Moon, the Amityville Harvest, For God's Sake, Get Off, Amityville Vibrator. Didn't you mention that earlier?
I did, Amityville Vibrator, yeah. For God's Sakes, Get Off, by the way, is fucking a genius.
Amityville in the Hood, Amityville Karen, Amityville Uprising, Amityville in Space, Amityville Clown.
In Space?
Amityville The Resurgence, Amityville Germany, Amityville Thanksgiving, Killer Poop 2, the Amityville Poo. He's just taking everything that's got Amityville on the title. Amityville Gas Chamber, the Amityville Exorcist, Amityville Leprechaun, The Girl from the Other Side. Not sure what the deal is with that.
Can't get over the poop one.
And that might be where we are. He says he updates this weekly.
Missing one.
That's from friend of the show, Sam Panico. I'll link that on the show notes.
He's missing one. He's literally missing the one that Andy's in.
The Amityville poop.
The Amityville Hex. Andy, do you wish you were in Amityville Poo?
Yeah.
It might be mentioned in one of the reviews for one of these.
Yeah.
He's doing the Lord's work over there and talking about every one of the Amityville movies that comes out.
I rewatched the trailer for the Awakening one. The trailer makes it look kind of creepy. I don't know if I'll watch it. It was giving me Pet Sematary vibes with Zelda type of thing, and the sick kid he definitely looked like Pascal. Pretty freaky. But I don't know if it's worth a watch.
I remember not hating it.
Okay.
The other one, the Amityville Murders, I don't think I hated either, but they're pretty basic, I guess, straight to streaming now, straight to VOD type entries. I don't think they're asylum level bad. There's a story. I mean, Jennifer Jason Leigh's in one of them, and Burt Young comes back, and Diane Franklin come back for the other one. They're not.
But as
horrible.
for mainline ones, it's these three.
These three, and the reboot, which I guess we can end on, even though Chris didn't watch it. It's
the same movie.
It's the same movie. It's like so many modern remakes. And I remember enjoying it the first time I watched it. I think I enjoyed his performance and how vicious he is in this. I forgot how much I disliked all the Jodie stuff. I much prefer that being a disembodied pig that you kind of see in the window of the original, instead of one of the siblings that was killed by DeFeo constantly popping up and looking like one of those black-eyed kids from so many modern horror films.
It definitely follows that Conjuring where there has to be a face, like an icon.
Right.
Back then, you didn't really need that. And I guess today, I mean, hell, I bitched about it too, I won't lie. When the third Conjuring came out, I was like, there wasn't one. We didn't get a demon or and anyone to be the face of the horror.
And that's why the third one is the weakest of the three. Is because they just have that at that point, it's like it's run out of steam.
Yeah,
I just didn't like it that was the jump scare and the reason for everything to happen. And every time somebody turned around, she was there and hopping out of that closet. For me, and I know I'm an old man, but the unknown stuff is spookier. Like the scene with Lori Loughlin, you're confused and not understanding. Once you figure it out, it's that's creepy.
Yeah, this movie is definitely loaded with jump scares too. Like,
I think I'm just tired of, even though this comes before a lot of the stuff we have now, that trauma, him being so abusive to that older son, it reminds me of Joaquin Phoenix from Parenthood when he was a little kid. He looks almost exactly like him in that movie. But anyway.
I think he's the kid from the Butterfly Effect.
Oh.
The one that ends up being a psycho, like.
He's good in the movie.
Yeah.
Again, the acting is good. Little Chloe Grace Moretz is adorable.
And fantastic. Like, it's obvious why she's had a career.
That scene of her on top of the house makes me so anxious.
It's intense.
And looks very real. Read that she does her own stunts. I don't know what that involves, like being on top of a house inside of a studio, and everything's green screened, or how they did it, but you believe that she is on top of this house with extremely steep roofs.
The house in this version is huge.
Yeah.
It is a huge house. Like, in comparison to the other ones, this movie is like gothic.
It's got a giant wraparound porch, and the house is a 3-story colonial house.
Yeah.
You get that from those first 3 films. You get the 2 levels up to that room with the creepy eyeball windows.
Especially in the second movie. The second movie does a really good job of making that second story feel insanely expansive in a way that, again, I didn't watch the Ryan Reynolds movie, but I can tell you from just looking at the poster, the house, the way it's portrayed, I know horror movies from that time and in place, and the way they approach Freddy and Jason in those movies, and Leatherface, they really leaned into like making it look stylistically interesting. And in that second original Amityville movie, that's what one of the things I really appreciated is it's like you've mentioned, Mark, because it has that Italian flair to it. It's more stylistically interesting than even the first movie is. And that second story is that's a weird area that like half of the movie takes place on. It feels like another world from the rest of the house.
Yeah, it does. And that's why in this scene, I'm glad you brought it up, because that scene, in my opinion, is the one that actually makes you feel something when she's on the roof. I like its setup too, in that the Lutzes get home and they're standing outside, and then they just see a teddy bear fall to the ground, and we hear "Hi, mommy," and then the camera pans up, and there she is. And the music does exactly what your heart just did. It drops, and you're like, oh, shit. She's up there just playing around.
Horrifying how high up she is.
That almost felt like an action scene. You know what I mean? There was so much to it. Ryan Reynolds is... holy shit, is the dude ripped in this movie.
Yeah. There's plenty of chances for anyone who's interested to see him shirtless and soaking wet. So if that's your thing,
constantly
watch the 2005 Amityville Horror.
He's angry, he's bearded, he's wielding an axe, and he's ripped to the gods. And if angry, ripped dudes is your thing, he's in there. I enjoy this movie, but in comparison to the original one, it doesn't have that ominous vibe. This one just has straight, it's on the nose. You know what I mean? This house is haunted. Here's a ghost. You heard a sound? It's that ghost.
It's always Jody.
Yeah.
It kills any mood or suspense. Oh, what was that? She's constantly like running behind people in the background, and you know it's her because you've seen her already and you're going to see her again. It's not like it's a surprise as to what is darting behind them in the house.
And I wonder what her reasoning is being evil. If she was just an innocent child, but I guess the evil presence in the house has turned her that way. When they flee in the end, the last shot of the film is Jody in tears because she's still stuck there. So I'm like, am I supposed to feel bad for her, or is she evil? Because the way she torments the babysitter seems legitimately evil.
Almost like in the Conjuring films. It's not so much that they're evil, but the evil force has attached itself to them.
Right.
Like the old guy in The Conjuring 2. He's not a bad guy. He's just sad and lonely and doesn't know that he's dead. It's this other thing that's kind of working through him. I mean, they do that in most of the films in one way or another. We get the whole catch 'em thing a lot more in this. Catch 'em, kill 'em. And
a lot, we
go into that backstory even more in this one, where that's the research she's doing is into him in particular, the torture that he was putting Native Americans through in the house. And they flip that trope of the ancient Indian burial ground and make it not so much that we have taken over their sacred space, but some white guy that got kicked out of Salem did this to the Native Americans, trying to make it a little bit more palatable for modern audiences, but also keeping the same trope alive. Plus, it factors into the story more. You get that with the magnets on the refrigerator, which I was thinking, that's weird. Why are those the only letters that they have? But then later on, then you see, all the letters are on there, and it was just in their mind.
Yeah, sure.
It's one of the passable 2000s remakes, the Platinum Dunes or Dimension Films or whoever. I think they're connected in some way.
It's Platinum Dunes.
It was right after the success of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I know that they were really wanting to take on films that were either based or inspired by real things, because the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was a hit, with horror fans specifically. This movie really drives it in that this is based on a true story, the Amityville Horror. This happened. All these things did happen. It even opens in the same fashion as the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I mean, the original one kind of does too. A lot of news outlets and flashing imagery of the massacre that happened, and then now fast forward a year later. But I do like that scene with the teddy bear. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Lori Loughlin's death in the third one, where she invites the priest to come over and bless the house and whatnot. And she introduces the children. He sees Chloe Grace Moretz holding a teddy bear. So he takes her outside. He gets straight to the point. He doesn't go on and on and on. That bear that she's holding is really interesting. That was Jody's bear. And she said, yeah, I know. It must have been left behind with the house. That's impossible because she was buried with that bear.
I performed the funeral. I know. I saw it in her casket.
Exactly. He was there, and he said she was buried with that doll. And then the music does that. You're spiraling. And what is actually happening? But other than that, it doesn't have a lot of those moments. I think that's the only one. If not, the other one is also just her and the priest, where she's telling him about she's got her family and there's something evil in the house. And he says, oh, well, there was a family here a year ago, had kind of the same problem. And she says, oh, you mean the DeFeos? And he's like, you know them? She's like, I'm living in their house. That one didn't really work because I was like, well, we already know that. We didn't know that the bear was buried with Jody. Therefore, I reacted. I was like, oh, wow, shit. That's freaky. We know she's living in the house. So that was more shocking for the priest and not so much us. But I can't stop thinking about the flies because it always takes me back to Scary Movie 2.
I haven't seen that.
Has anybody here seen Scary Movie 2?
Not in a very long time.
With James Woods. The opening scene to Scary Movie 2 is a Amityville Horror / The Exorcist parody. Just the intro. He's come over to perform an exorcism, but first he must bless the house. So he goes to the bathroom, and there is the original Amityville scene where the priest is in that room, and, you know, the flies are showing up and they start to collect on his face. In this one, he's exorcising the house and he's pleading to the Lord about releasing the demon, and then it cuts to a faraway shot and he's actually taking a shit.
Please, Lord, help me to release this demon!
That doesn't sound right.
He's just taking a shit. Anyways.
I wanted to ask you guys something real quick that we didn't talk about with the first movie. And it sounds like the Ryan Reynolds movie steers more into this, which would not be surprising. How weird is it that the first film's climax shares a lot with The Shining?
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
The Shining comes out in January of 1977. The Amityville Horror book comes out in September of 1977. And in the book, I don't remember...
It's not an axe in the book.
Right.
It's an axe in the movie.
Right. And that's such a strange thing, because I've never thought about The Shining and Amityville Horror. I'm assuming in the Ryan Reynolds movie, it's like the house is in the middle of nowhere, right?
Yeah, it's not so. It doesn't really look like it's in a neighborhood. It kind of looks like it's...
It is, in like a fucking cul-de-sac.
In the remake, it kind of looks like it's almost like Last House on the Left, where it's just like off by itself somewhere.
Right.
It's more like it's set back
like
on
in
a
The
big
Shining,
lot.
separated from people.
In that one, he doesn't... The finale is not an axe that he's chasing them with. He's chasing them with a rifle.
Interesting. But it's the same idea of a husband chasing after the wife and kids.
Right. And he's being manipulated by some other force.
Yes.
Because I believe George Lutz never actually said what happened last night they were in the house. I think they've always said, like, it was much too terrifying. Otherwise known as...
Nothing happened.
Nothing happened. It's weird because it smacks of The Shining almost one for one. They're chasing him, and then it's like, and then instead of the dad dying, he kind of comes to his senses once he's left the house.
Yeah.
Right?
Very much so, yes.
I never put those together, but yeah, it's pretty fucking similar.
Very similar.
Well, it's the same way I've always thought Hocus Pocus and The Goonies was kind of the same story.
Yeah.
Something ancient. We're going to go discover it. We release something bad. People are after us. So they release a monster, and then we become friends with the monster, who then helped us defeat the bad guys. And then everyone's happy in the end.
There's only like 5 stories out there. They just have to be put together in different ways.
Amityville, I think the story of the Amityville goings on with the Lutz family and The Shining it's a tad close. Those cinematic tellings of the story are oddly similar.
I do like the finale of the remake a little more, just because I like that they actually utilize the house in its entirety.
Sure.
When they're escaping, when they're trying to run away from him, they actually climb up on the roof, and it becomes it's cinematic.
But that's because they have a budget.
They put up a fight.
Right.
It's great to watch.
Audiences in 2006 are not going to get on board with the audiences from the 70s, where the climax is James Brolin falling into the vat of goo in the basement and crawling out. We didn't talk about it, but it's rather anticlimactic. Like, it's beyond anticlimactic, frankly.
2005 version,
they're in peril.
It's a mother.
Because they've amped it up beyond reality.
It's a story of a mother trying to protect her family. It's not so much about Ryan Reynolds. Well, I guess it kind of is, actually.
It's less about the house this time than it is about him.
Obviously, he's very physically strong.
They dive into him being the threat much more than the house being the threat. Sort of a combination of the first two, where he's getting overtly possessed, not just being negatively affected by it and being cranky and always being cold. He's all of those things, but he is going to turn into Ronnie DeFeo.
Literally a family killer.
He even built coffins, their names.
Yeah, I'm not sure when he did that.
I don't either.
They don't show him tinkering down in the basement. It's just all of a sudden they're fucking there when they go down.
That finale I actually found really cool. Just watching them, like you said, put up a fight, not just running away screaming. Even the kids who have no chance, they see their mom being strangled and trying to punch him. I do like the kid that he ripped off a bar or something on the roof because he saw him climbing up the other side and just knocked someone. I was like, he had that fucking coming. It's more exciting I did want that for the original, but I understand that it was different times, different budgets, different audiences. It would only make sense.
And they're going a little bit more towards what the actual quote-unquote story was.
Right. So it makes more sense that in the 2005 one, they'd be like, let's amp it up and let's have like a full-on chase scene.
Let's make a horror movie for the sensibilities of the people that are watching that Texas Chainsaw movie.
Yeah.
They do eliminate a lot of the stuff from the original film and from the book that are those ambiguous things that I kind of like from that movie, like the ceramic dragon biting him, the marching band. We didn't talk about a lot of the weird stuff that apparently goes on in the house because of how that film is structured. It's with the days, like you mentioned, Chris, and something weird happened most of the days they were there, but they're just these odd things. Like he hears a marching band playing on the bottom floor and goes in, and of course nobody's there. You don't have that. You don't have the money. None of the wedding. There's no family. There's hardly any priest in this one. There's no real police investigation. None of that stuff is in this. It's very streamlined. This guy's the threat because of the house. That's pretty much it. I kind of miss all that extraneous stuff from the first film in this one.
Right.
And sometimes maybe simple isn't better.
It's a nuance thing, right? I mean, it's a more nuanced movie.
It's kind of like when a stranger calls, the original one, we actually follow this recovered serial killer of some sort or murderer, almost like clockwork. Are they actually going to become a good citizen? We watch that all kind of go to shit in the end and he falls back in his old ways. But the remake, none of that happens.
You couldn't do that these days.
The remake is the first 20 minutes of the original stretched out. It's just a one long night of babysitting and keep getting weird calls. It was created just to have that one line said, the remake.
Leave me alone! Jill, this is Sergeant Sacker. Listen to me. We've traced the call. It's coming from inside the house. Our squad cars on the way over there right now.
Well, we already knew that line. And it worked in the original, She runs to the door and she sees the light and So that's what Amityville did. Yeah, they took out all there is no outside world in the 2005 Amityville. They move there and that becomes their whole world is in that house.
I would put it in between the Texas Chainsaw remake and the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. As far as quality.
That's a very broad...
Not as good as Texas Chainsaw, not as good as the Hills Have Eyes remake. Definitely not as bad as, in my opinion, not as bad as the Nightmare on Elm Street one.
That Nightmare on Elm Street remake, and Andy and I have talked about it. I don't know if you and I have talked about it, Mark, had the opportunity to do something in that movie truly amazing.
Oh, that's right.
They had the moment where they're in the nursery and they're about to see if there is like the sex cave that Freddy supposedly had. The opportunity that they had and they missed is they should have made it that he was innocent all along. And so he is a vengeful spirit to the core. And no, instead, he's just a child molester.
That was in the original. Like, we get it. And it could have been something really unique that they had done where I was wrongfully burned alive because I was being accused of something that didn't happen. I didn't do. And now I'm taking it out on all your children. I'm an evil spirit now. I don't even remember much of that movie. I've only seen it the one time, and it was in theaters.
I've watched it twice, and I remember nothing about it except for the diner scene, and that's it.
Yeah, and the kid that looks like a ghost just naturally looks like a ghost.
I like the ending. The ending where the mom gets pulled through the mirror by Freddy.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah, you've shown...
Yeah, I did. We watched that recently. You know what's sad is Rooney Mara is way better than that movie deserves. She's such a good actress, and that movie is... And Jackie Earle Haley, too, frankly. I mean, everybody in that movie is really good elsewhere.
Everyone's good. They just weren't utilized,
Yeah. Which is a shame because, it effectively sunk any chance of us seeing another Freddy movie ever again.
And I can't say that for 2005 Amityville. Everyone's performances were actually good. I felt Ryan Reynolds was going crazy, and I felt...
Melissa George.
Thought she was fantastic. Chloe Grace Moretz, fantastic. The kids seemed genuinely confused and scared. I would say that it's just that this film is more of a roller coaster ride in that there's jump scares and scary things to look at. and it's a little exciting. You don't feel anything to the depths of your core like you do in the original, where it's like the original Halloween is creepy.
Yeah, right. Without a lot of blood and guts. And
yeah, because Michael's a stalker. He's just a weird guy just watching you. And then, these newer ones, exciting, but they're not creepy or scary.
So anything else about any three of these or the remake?
I had fun revisiting these, and I'm
good. Even though you were mildly grossed out by the second one.
Yeah.
As was Chris.
But even in that, I like having something to talk about. And I think just rewatching them, I forgot how much I enjoy these types of movies. It was fun.
Out of the three original, which is your favorite, Andy?
The first one.
How about you, Chris?
Probably the third one. I think the third one was just the right amount of stupid and weird and idiosyncratic. And again, they don't make movies like that anymore. Case in point, the Amityville Horror with Ryan Reynolds, which is, hearing you guys talk about it, it sounds exactly what I was expecting it to be. Tonally consistent with those kinds of movies coming out at that time.
Yeah. It's pretty pedestrian.
Right. That's more what people make now, and less these insanity. And again, these are mainstream insanity movies. Nobody makes those anymore. It's just it's stuff like this where it's rather safe. Stylistic, but rather safe.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me, the third one.
I think I have to go with the second one. So this says a lot about me, apparently.
You're sick.
As far as rewatchability, for me, up until maybe that final act, that's the one that I think of watching more often. Don't think it's a better film by any means than the first one. I think that is definitely the better made film of the three, or of the four, actually, and probably of the 40, I could probably safely say.
Right.
But those first two definitely are rewatchable every couple of years or so.
Yeah.
And they have Shout Factory releases, folks. Or Scream Factory, I guess. So the only other thing that I will say about the Amityville remake, Ryan Reynolds with facial hair, doesn't do it for me.
Really? I think he looks very handsome in that.
He looks proper insane with facial hair. When I think of Ryan Reynolds with facial hair, even though, again, this is the role I think of, is him in Amityville. Just having seen the poster and the trailer enough times, he looks just rough, but the kind of rough that clearly works.
Right.
Crazy rough. Covered in blood rough.
All right, well, I think that wraps up the epic Amityville episode.
We should have covered all 40 movies, then it would have been truly epic.
I will link that from Sam. You can delve into all those if you like. When we're not talking about Amityville movies, Chris, where can people find you?
CSTACHIW.com. That's cstachiw.com. That's my link tree. Go there. Like you've already mentioned, Kulturecast. Like I've mentioned, Scary Stories We Tell. So more talking about the real stuff behind this, if you're into that. And then I have my own movie podcast where we do talk about horror movies from time to time, but we kind of talk about really kind of whatever I want to talk about or other people want to talk about. Begley, you've programmed a month this year. Andy has effectively, Andy and I are just kind of talking about things that either one of us want to talk about. That's kind of what's going on over at my site.
And Andy, where can people find you?
Andy Gnosis, Gnosis, on all social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. It's all there.
They can watch your America's Got Talent audition.
They can, if they so dare.
That blew me away. I've seen that before, actually, sometime within the last 10 years. So I was completely stunned. I'm like, I know who this guy is.
Yeah, I was only 19 and now I'm turning 30.
Oh, Lord. You're a baby.
Someone even younger than me, Mark. So.
That's insane. You people.
You're insane. You like the second one more.
I like the incest one.
He likes the one with all the family fucking.
I like it because of Diane Franklin's eyebrows, to be honest with you.
That's fair. That's valid.
You can catch me over at wakeupheavy.com, on all social media at wakeupheavy. Thanks for listening. And don't forget,
anything can happen when you wake up heavy.
Get out!
Well, I was going to a party in Amityville. Matter of fact, it was the house at the top of the hill. But I wouldn't have never went for nothing in the world except I got an invite for one of my girls. When I got to the house, the grass was over the fence. The atmosphere around would keep you in suspense. So I rang the doorbell like it ain't no thing. And this gruesome guy came and said,
"Hello, Stachiw. I understand they call you the love bug. What a cute little bug. I'd like to put you between my fingers."
It's the house on the hill. Amityville. House on the hill. So he grabbed me by the collar, picked me off my feet. And all I could hear was this spooky beat. And when it finally put me down, my heart felt like stopping. But it wouldn't stop because the house was rocking. The bass was kicking and the house was loud. And let me tell you, it wasn't your average crowd. They had this guy on the mic, he was dressed in black. He had a messed up face with a hunch on his back. It's the house on the hill. It's called Amityville. House on the hill. Amityville. I told you it's the house on the hill. Amityville. And all of a sudden I heard this terrible crash. And on the stage was the group called the Monster Mash. And there's a little something, I must admit, I never seen so many girls with coughing itch. And in the middle of the floor I saw a hat and a coat. But the rest wasn't there and there ain't no joke. There was a girl at the bar, she was looking fine. But she turned out to be the bride of Frankenstein. It's Amityville now. Come on, girl, we going straight to. We gonna take a visit. It's the house on the hill. Everybody goes to Amityville. House on the hill.
I'm Captain James T. Kirk of the Starship Enterprise. Scotty deemed us down here by mistake. Spock, you've got to get us out of here. I copy it, I'd like to, but we cannot get a fix. Spock, the people here are dressed so strangely. Strange 20th century life forms. There's an actual love bug walking around. Spock, analysis, please. Yes, Captain, no problem. 20th century phenomenon.
It's Amityville, y'all. Yeah. You want to go to the house on the hill? Amityville, house on the hill. Crack walked up with no kind of class, drinking something that was bubbling from out of his glass. So I panicked and I hit the deck, cause I swore he was coming straight for my neck. Then he said,
"Yo, Starsky, there's no need to fear. Didn't you read the invite? You're the star of the year. All the monsters came from miles around just to hear you rock because you got down. Amityville. House on the hill.
You wanna go? Come on. There's enough room. We can all go to the house on the hill. The next thing you know, with the hand clap shower, I realized I was the man of the hour. So I got on the mic without no mistake, and all the monsters in the house started to break. And then I put down the mic, said that is that. Gave Drac a high five and he changed to a bat. So I said today I'm asleep like a lamb, but don't you know we were rocking at the Monster Jam? You wanna go? Come on, let's go to. You didn't understand me? I said Amityville to the house on the hill. It's the house on the hill. You make the left and you make the right, then you go Amityville. House on the hill. It's Amityville. Amityville. Oh, yes. We got to go there, man. I'm serious. We got to. It's the house on the hill. Amityville.
Are you a film fan who loves the ultimate home video experience? Look no further than The Disconnected. Your host, Ryan Reynolds, is your go-to source for the latest and most accurate information on home video releases, exclusive interviews with industry insiders and filmmakers, and has established a thriving community where every film and physical media enthusiast feels welcome. From hidden gems to blockbuster hits, The Disconnected brings you insider knowledge and a welcoming space to share your love of cinema. Watch every Thursday night at 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific for the live announcements show and follow The Disconnected on social media to stay updated. Subscribe to The Disconnected on YouTube or on the podcast provider of your choice and dive into a world where every movie night is an adventure.